these notes that I cut and I hold. And inevitably, after the session, or after the evening, someone will come up to me, many people will come up to me, in fact, and say, you don't need those notes. Why do you have those notes? You shouldn't have those notes. I'm very predictable. I'm a Scorpio and I'm very stubborn, and I am an entrepreneur for a reason. So my response is to do this. What's Molly? This thing? I do this really well. And I push back, and there's this whole dialogue happening in my head, but what you see is this. And, but the reality is, it's kind of, admittedly, it is a defensive maneuver. I just get it. I am not missing that. But I used to write it up, saying that, I don't need any notes to be a professional, and this isn't a TED Talk, and I like being messy, and I like, doing the thing that other people don't do. And I had all these excuses, but the truth was, I was lying to myself. And when I peeled it back, I was afraid. I was afraid to fail. Again. I was afraid to fail publicly. And lucky for me, one woman found the chink in my armor. And I had worked with this woman in the corporate world before. I'd known her really well. I was working with her as a client. And after one of her sessions, she had gone to SheSpeaks back in May. And she came up and said, I would love that session, but Lael, she got right in my face before I had a chance to react, and she said, Lael, lose the fucking notes. I wasn't prepared. It was her session. And so I wasn't prepared. She caught me off guard, and I backed up, and I tried to laugh. I tried to be offended. I tried to be stubborn. And nothing was working, because the reality is nothing would work with this woman, because what she did is she handed my fear to me on a silver platter, and she dared me not to see it. And I did. I saw my own fear, and I was able to name it. And there we have it again, right? Many people have referenced it. It's a familiar face at SheSpeaks, fear. But there's a cousin of fear that often hangs out in the shadows, does its job really well. Sometimes you don't even know it's there. And its name is resistance. And resistance is the bouncer outside fear's wall. And if you want to get a table with fear, you got to go through resistance. Whitney Johnson, author of Dare, Dream, Do, talks a lot about her own experience with this. And she said she has this habit of over-scripting and over-preparing for her presentations and her pitches. So much to the point where she gives the illusion of showing up. And she blames it on her perfectionistic tendencies, and she wants to get it just right. And she said, like a snail, she retreats into her shell so that she shows up, but not quite. And so what we're really talking about here, just to put a sharp point on it, is being vulnerable. And if you want to know about vulnerability, Brené Brown is a great resource. You can check out her TED Talks, and specifically her second TED Talk, where she talked about the massive vulnerability hangover she had after her first TEDx talk went viral. I hear my clients run into this all the time, vulnerability. And you can talk to many of the speakers have referenced it tonight, their journey through resistance and fear and vulnerability for the past 2 months. And you want to know something really funny? I thought I had vulnerability dialed. And it's embarrassing to admit that, but we're all friends here, right? So 6 months ago, or back in June, I moved out of my home office, and I moved into my pirate ship in the old balloon. And I was in my home office for 8 years, and I had this quote that grounded and anchored my beliefs and my practice. It was an excerpt from Marianne Williamson's quote. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And it was massive. And it said, "You do not serve the world by playing small." And it anchored me. So when I was moving to my pirate ship, I said, so, should I move that quote, also have that? And I remember looking at it going, I'm 45 now, and I know I'm big. I don't need a quote to remind me that I'm big. I get it. I am big. And, I mean, I know it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I'm being honest with you. It actually went through my head. And so then I'm thinking about being up here on stage tonight and going through notes, and it's like my little Linus blanket, and what do I do? And I am. And I was thinking about it, and for some reason I thought of that quote. You do not serve the world by playing small, which is talking about being big. And I was driving on Monday, and I heard, I was preparing, doing my thing, getting ready for tonight, and I heard this really wise, loving, crystal clear woman's voice in my head saying, oh, you thought this was big? Oh, sweetheart. There's so much more for you. At which case I laughed because I believe that there is no limit to our ability to expand. There is no limit, and therefore there is no limit to our degree of vulnerability. Well, you never have vulnerability dialed in. You don't do it right. Vulnerability is a constant thing that I'm going to run into again and again and again. And so what I'm realizing is when you break through a wall, often there's another wall. And which begs the question, how many fucking walls are not able to find me because of those walls? And more importantly, what am I not able to reach for because I can't see through those walls? But here's what I do know. When you intersect your vulnerability with your deepest longing, it is catalytic. It is potent, it is unstoppable, and it is a force to be reckoned with. When we give voice to what we truly want, our hearts crack wide open, and the walls that we have within us don't have a leg to stand on. But here's the other thing I've learned about it. We have these ideas in our head that when we put our request out there to the universe, we have to do it with a perfect balance of sort of reverence and humility and graciousness. And we have to get our voices all calm and serene when we're talking to the universe, and we sort of have to bow. Lower your eyes. We have to bow at the wisdom and the mercy of the universe. And I've come to appreciate that is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit, because the universe is more than happy to oblige when you're fierce, and you're impatient, and you're angry, and you're demanding. I will tell my clients, be a greedy bitch. Ask for it. Draw in. You can draw in harbingers as fast as you can spit them out and then go back for more. There is no limit as long as they are clear and they are true. They are true and they are from the heart. And I've tested this. I've said to the universe, if you want me to continue doing this work, you are going to finance this puppy, and you are going to give me 3 rock star clients by Friday at 3 o'clock. And just to drive home my point, I point to my palm, and I say, right fucking here. Right here. Right there. And as if I'm not going to work hard, it's just going to drop right into my palm. And then I wait for the week, and I think, I wonder if it was too aggressive. It's rude. And then I pull myself together, I stick my palm right out, and I just go right fucking here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Our next client. I'm sorry. Our next speaker knows that she's damn good at calling in and manifesting what she wants for herself. And she's also starting to realize that she's been playing coy a little bit, and she's kind of done with that. Please welcome to the stage to tell her story the amazing Shannon Bryan.